I'm looking forward to working alongside Malenka and the entire Board of Trustees as we embark on this exciting journey together, and with all of you in launching a new strategic framework. I will now invite Neil Hajra, this time as chair of the Strategic Planning Task Force, to join me on the virtual stage in presenting that strategic framework to our Michigan community of philanthropy. Neil.
Thanks, Lynn, and congratulations on your new role as chair of the Council of Michigan Foundations. I and the other trustees really look forward to working with you, especially at this time when philanthropy's leadership and voice is needed the most. I'm really excited to join you in sharing our new strategic framework with all members who are on the Zoom, our community of philanthropy. At the meeting of the CMF Board of Trustees last Monday, we affirmed a new and bold direction that carries forward our 47-year tradition of ensuring that we can all advance the power of philanthropy to address today's challenges for tomorrow's prosperity. The Strategic Planning Task Force that I was honored to chair collected mounds and mounds of data from hundreds of stakeholders, and most importantly, captured all of your voices, your concerns, and your aspirations. Based on a year-long journey of listening, engaging, dreaming, and yes, of course, pausing to understand the challenges of our current crises, the CMF board endorsed a new framework called Equity at the Center. I want to thank all of my fellow task force members that you see here on the screen, along with all of the CMF trustees who've been deeply engaged in this process, and dozens of members, including many on this Zoom, who contributed to the new framework. Before I go into the dimensions of our new framework, let me be clear that we fully recognize that this is a significant pivot for CMF. Equity at the Center proposes that CMF's work to support you will continue to advance best practices, develop our leaders and practitioners, and ensure that we are an effective partner in the public sector. But the framework goes further to clearly state why and makes advancing equity both Michigan philanthropy's destination and our accountability. Our CEO, Kyle, will share what this new accountability will mean. So I'm going to focus on sharing the broader framework with you that you all help shape, and hopefully we can all be proud to embrace. CMF's new vision, mission, values, and priorities are tied to a core of equity, and it will be important to understand that this is a very long-term commitment to all of you, and that CMF's role will be to help all in our community of philanthropy along their equity journey. As I go into the dimensions of this framework, I know we would likely all cringe at the notion of a presentation that runs through a comprehensive strategic plan with all its detail. And I know from experience, no one wants to hear me drone on. So that's not what we're going to do today. And instead, the CMF board is providing you with an overview of a framework that the staff, trustees, and all of you will spend time living into and working to deeply understand how we can be even more impactful and empowered to meet the seeming overwhelming challenges that we face. No doubt some of you may be concerned about CMF stepping forward with a plan that so boldly calls out equity. It can be an uncomfortable topic and difficult to talk about in our current polarized climate. The easier route would have been for all of us in CMF to acknowledge equity as a concern, but otherwise focus on providing member products and services that meet or exceed the dollar-for-dollar return on member dues. Do be assured that each of your investments in CMF will continue to include access to those important services that we know mean so much in supporting your work. The feedback was loud and clear on that point. But you are all also really clear that you expect CMF to lead and not just follow. That's what led us to propose that we go to the core of society's challenges and meet that with philanthropy's true meaning. And I've heard Kyle say this many times, and I agree wholeheartedly, the true meaning of philanthropy as acts of love for humankind. As Kyle will share later, equity is philanthropy's ultimate accountability, and it is CMF's responsibility to help our community of philanthropy meet it. Our new vision statement looks squarely at our collective aspiration to be a thriving philanthropic sector leading in the relentless pursuit of equitable systems and inclusive diversity. This points to the accountability for our field. CMF's mission in service to you is to lead, strengthen, and support you, our community of philanthropy. This continues CMF's unwavering commitment to ensuring Michigan is a strong and vibrant philanthropic community, and that you have all the tools, resources, and support that you need to fulfill your missions in our collective journey toward equity. These clear imperatives and commitments for CMF help to form our 4 pillars, our priorities of equity, people, practice, and policy. Centering equity and leading with equity will hold us true to our vision and mission, while also helping us focus and measure our collective accountabilities. As you hear Kyle soon share how these priorities will continue in CMF's support of all of you, I want you all to know that we heard you loud and clear that CMF must maintain our commitment to public policy, developing our talent, growing new forms of philanthropy, and ensuring that we continue to develop, advance, and amplify the grant-crafted innovations that have been the hallmark of Michigan philanthropy. All of these things are represented in these priorities. So no framework can stand or endure if it's not grounded in a set of common values. With your input and guidance, we are embracing a set of values, both traditional and new, that will serve as our touchstones. As you see, equity again appears as a value as well as an outcome we seek, further centering our work. Finally, the framework seemed incomplete without a clear statement of how CMF will lead. We recognized early on that it would not be enough for CMF to propose this new way forward without changing the way that we work as an organization and as a community of philanthropy. We know this work will be hard. We know we're going to have to learn a lot and make mistakes along the way. There's going to be several twists and turns. There will be some who are well along their equity journey, waiting for CMF to support their efforts, and perhaps even more still struggling to understand how equity plays a role in their philanthropy, or even why. CMF's job will be to ensure all can join and at their own pace. But seeking to make equity the center of our work will require persistence. This is why we added a statement on how CMF will lead. Driven by values and the power of people, how we lead calls us to be more adaptive, deeper in our expertise, and stalwart in a commitment to continuous improvement. So this is what the CMF Board of Trustees adopted and will be using as our North Star. Maybe now you're thinking, okay, Neil, that's great, but what does it mean for the work on the ground? What does it mean for me as a member? What does it mean going forward? So those are all fair and important questions, and the best people to answer those are our new board chair, Lynn, and our CEO, Kyle, who will take this overview to the next level. So I'm going to turn the program back to Lynn.
Thank you, Neil. And first, let me say that your leadership on this work has been outstanding, and I really wish we were in a grand hall together so that we could ask the hundreds in our CMF community to applaud your hard work and that of the task force. Thank you so much. CMF is at a turning point. We're at a critical moment in time that will ensure that we can continue for another 48 years. The need for equity to be embedded in our work is apparent across our state and throughout every aspect of our grant making. We're watching as COVID-19 cases spike in northern Michigan. This is a call for equity. We know how important green space is to the environment and to our mental health, and that it's not accessible for everyone in this great state. That is a call for equity. We know what an important resource we have in our Great Lakes. We also know that they're under great stress. That is a call for equity. With the work of the task force, we have a new vision, mission, values, set of core priorities, all centering on equity, to embolden and equip all of us in the relentless pursuit of equitable systems, and the embrace of inclusive diversity. Now we need to assign long-term objectives, metrics, and plans that are very practical yet bold, strategic and measurable, grounded and aspirational. To do this and to do it right will take time and discipline. As Neil mentioned, it will require that CMF lead differently. But I also firmly believe we must be deliberate, keenly focused on success and learning from any setbacks. Your Council of Michigan Foundations will commit to putting equity at the center of our work. We'll do this by asking hard questions, fostering safe spaces for difficult conversations that lead to shared understanding, measuring our progress and accountabilities, continually scanning the landscape to maintain relevance and awareness, and maintaining our agility, all in service to you, our community of philanthropy. I'm excited by the power and potential of this new framework and proud to help bring this important work forward in service to you and to the foundation I call home.